So guys, please give him a huge, warm welcome. Pancham, please come on stage.
Is it me? Okay, great. So this is what I'm going to be talking about with you guys today. Agencies and towards better health and longevity. My biggest challenge, Gautam, was that usually I cover this in 6-7 hours. So how do I make sure that everything is compressed in a 50-minute window? But I've tried to pick up the most important critical deficiencies that are there, and my hope is that you guys walk away with something which you can apply immediately. It's a long presentation. You might get bored with some technical information, but please, even if you walk away with one thing out of this presentation, it will probably change your life for better. So what is health? What's the definition of health? Health is not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. I love this definition. This is by the World Health Organization. But it's a state of complete physical, mental, social, emotional, and spiritual well-being. They didn't have emotional and spiritual mentioned in it. I added to it. I think this is what health means to me. And this is what health should mean to all of us. And also, most of us are not firing on all cylinders. I think most of us are kind of working on 15-20% of our potential. I'm not talking about mental potential, but just in terms of health, what we can do. If you're firing on all cylinders, we're on 100%, I think that's where we're truly healthy. If you're not diagnosed with the disease right now, it doesn't mean that you're kind of healthy right now. Okay, this is my vision. I want to be not the lady, but the guy over here. I want to be in my 100, 110, 105. God willing, inshallah, I live to be that long. But I want to be active. I want to be doing things that I enjoy doing, which make me alive, contributing. And if I want to die, it should be happening on the last day, maybe when I'm gardening and I just pass off. And yeah, and later on, whatever people do, I don't care. So there's a difference. These two terminologies, lifespan and health span, are used a lot. We've had a huge increase in lifespan. People are living 70, 80, 90 years, 90 plus years as well. But how are the last 10, 15 years of their lives? I know in my city, and I know, I'm going to be 41 in a couple of months, and our parents are getting older, grandparents are moving on, and you have friends whose parents are kind of going through certain diseases. You realize that the last 15, 20 years of their lives are really very bad. There are tubes down their throat. There are hospital visits, which you don't want. Health span, on the other hand, means that as long as you're living, what is the overlap of how healthy you are? How much are you contributing? My vision is to make sure that my health span overlaps with my lifespan. And if I, by some reason, do not have a good health span, I just want to go off this earth. These are the pillars of wellness. I really love this chart. I think they're the 8 pillars of wellness: physical, social. You need to be rocking on all of them. But what is common in all of these is your physical self, this body. This has to be taken care of. And in my mind, in my study, and I think Ronan will agree as well, that it's not just the workout. In fact, most of the health professionals say 80% of your health is going to come from your nutrition, what you put inside your body, which is food, which is your thoughts, which is probably the oxygen you're breathing, the relationships you have, all that. Some key concepts. There's way to focus on macronutrients: protein, fat, carbohydrates, ketogenic diet, low carb, high fat, all that. But I think there's not too much focus given to the micronutrients. That's where we have a lot of area of improvement. Micronutrients are your vitamins, your nutrients, your minerals, which actually work in a kind of symphony when they are in harmony with each other. They actually work on a cellular level to actually get you in a state of complete health. Another key point I want to talk about is that you cannot outrun or out-exercise a poor diet. Michael Phelps, if you remember, 10 years back or so, there was an article that his diet was about 12,000 calories, and he was eating all kind of shit. All the processed foods he was eating. But then here, later on, also came out to say that it was setting the wrong precedents. People were thinking that you could actually eat whatever you want and get the calories, but you will be healthy. He came on later on to kind of talk about how it's not just the calories, but actually the quality of the food that you're putting in. So it's like burning tire to get energy. You could burn tire, but there'll be a lot of smoke, or you could kind of burn really clean, dry wood and get all the heat and energy as well. Anybody knows what homeostasis is? Sorry? Absolutely, state of balance. Our bodies have an amazing capability of self-healing if we just get out of the way and we provided the right condition. The right conditions are things like your nutrition, good sleep, good diet, and you don't necessarily need a lot of medicine. So this is what is amazing about how probably God has made human body, that if we just provided the right fundamentals, body's going to heal on its own. In all my studies over the years, I started this about 5 years back, there was all the literature pointing to what was the root cause of all the diseases today. So these were the various root causes. First and foremost was that all the diseases today are because of chronic nutritional deficiency. There is chronic inflammation, oxidative stress. On a cellular level, we are not firing on all cylinders, circadian misalignment, and of course, exposure to toxins. Over the last 50 years, we've been exposed to over 80,000 new toxins and chemicals, and our body doesn't know what to do with it. And in the older times, people were losing their health and they were dying because of infections. We don't have that problem anymore. Now the problems are because of chronic nutritional deficiency. We're getting more calories in, but the nutrients in those calories are very, very low. So in my entire study, dealing with people with different diseases, these three common nutritional deficiencies kept coming up. Whether it was women-related issues, whether it was cancer, these were the ones that were coming up constantly. And that's why I'm going to focus only on these three during this session. Now the answer is, why can't I just take a pill? Why can't I take a multivitamin and get these nutritional deficiencies taken care of? Now the problem with the multivitamin is that it has too many of the bad things and too less of the good things. For example, I think when women are pregnant, they are told to get folic acid. Now folic acid is not the same as folate. Folate is basically found in green leafy vegetables. That's how the name folate came, from foliage. It's later on found that it's also found in nuts and seeds as well. But folic acid is actually made in the lab. So it's a synthetically made substance, whereas foliage is something which is found in whole foods. So a pill would not do the job for you. You have to find a better way to deal with these nutritional deficiencies. Okay, I have a request to make to all of you guys. Now you need to approach this session and these 3 points with the view that it's going to help your health. If you're fine and you're not suffering from anything, your motivation will be compromised. So you have to think about your parents. Okay, think about your relative, think about your friends' parents who are probably suffering from some disease. Maybe you can take this to them and actually help them in some way or the other. That's my objective. Even if one of you is able to do it, I think my purpose of coming over here would be fulfilled. So while I'm going through some technical boring things in the next slides, just bear with me, okay? And I'm not going to tell you that eat a rainbow of colors in your, on your plate. Everybody knows that. Eat whole foods. Everybody knows that. Don't eat processed foods. Yeah, everybody knows that. But I'm going to talk about a few things that really excite me and what my discoveries were. Okay, before that, can I just take a little bit of water? Thank you. Okay. Are we ready? First and foremost, magnesium. This is the deficiency number 1, the spark of life, the third most abundant mineral in the human body. Don't be, you're looking so bored, but just bear with me. So the stats show that about 90% of people are deficient in magnesium. These are people in the urban life, okay? So anybody over here knows what their magnesium status is? Hands up. No. Anybody here got their blood test done in the last about a year? Okay, cool. I'll talk about the other deficiencies in some time as well. Now, what is the role of magnesium? Magnesium has there are over 800 enzymatic processes. 300 is an old number. Actually, the new figure is about 800 enzymatic processes in the human body which require magnesium. So it's very central to our health and central to actually getting cellular energy. It's important for bone health. It's for restful sleep, muscle strength, vitamin D, helpful in pregnancy. What excites me about magnesium is that it is one of those minerals which help us get energy on a cellular level. So there are about 100 trillion cells in the human body, human cells. Nobody's counted them, but that's a rough number that we say that is there. Now, each of these cells, there are something called mitochondria. So there could be about 200 to about 2,000 different kinds of mitochondria within a cell. And within these, the way the energy is actually made on a cellular level is through something called ATP. If you go back to your biology classes, can anybody tell me the full form ATP? Adenosine triphosphate. Lovely. Now, what people do not know is that ATP does not become biologically active till the time there is a magnesium ion attached to it. So actually, it's almost like a spark in the car's engine. So magnesium provides that spark in the car's engine to get that energy on a cellular level. That's the importance of magnesium. Krebs cycle. So Krebs cycle is also responsible for energy production in the human body. It does multiple things. Again, going back to science classes, there are 8 steps in the Krebs cycle. Out of them, 6 of them require magnesium. So that's how profound it is. The reason I'm telling you all of this is that you get excited about how magnesium is important in our lives. And bad joke, Frankie goes to Hollywood. Do you remember the song, Relax, Don't Do It? Oh, God. Okay. Sorry. I'm way too old, really. So what magnesium does is it allows us to relax. It relaxes the body and our muscles. So muscles have 2 functions. One is contraction, one is relaxation. The contraction is all done by calcium. Relaxation is primarily done by magnesium. Now, why are we deficient? We are deficient because the soil does not have that amount of magnesium anymore. We are actually brushing our teeth with fluoride-laden toothpaste, which eventually bind to magnesium and they do not allow it to get absorbed in the body. Birth control pills, any women who is dealing with PCOS, etc., please, there are better ways to deal with it than having birth control pills. Insulin, antibiotics, nicotine, and cocaine. These are all the areas which actually deplete magnesium from your body. What else? Number 1, stress. Now, everybody's got stress in their lives. So stress zaps magnesium from your body. So that is why it is very important for you to keep getting it back into your system. Now, this is exciting. What are the symptoms of magnesium deficiency? Charlie's horse. So this is what used to happen to me. I don't know if anybody of you has felt it, that you stretch and you will suddenly have a very strong spasm in your calf and you feel like, you can't really move. It used to happen very often with me. There would be muscle spasms, not only in the calf area, but in the other areas of your body as well. Anybody's felt that? So even if you work out, yeah, so most of us would have felt it, right? And that's normally we say ki aap theek hai, you can put some sugar and salt and it'll be taken care of. But actually it is not just sodium which is depleted, but it's actually magnesium that is depleted. Because when you work out and you sweat out, magnesium also really goes out of your body. Eyes twitching, where there's a fluttering of your eye. In northern India, we say that if your eyes are fluttering, then बाईं आंख फड़क रही है. Sorry, in Hindi I'm saying this. बाईं आंख, somebody is remembering me. My left or my right eye is fluttering. So either something good is going to happen or something bad is going to happen. What is bad that's happening is that your body is telling you that I do not have enough magnesium. Your legs, restless leg syndrome. You can't sit. You're constantly moving. Okay, that is a very important sign that you have magnesium deficiency. How many of you feel that? Okay, cool. I used to feel it a lot, but it's gone. And I'll tell you that what is the way that I found, and I'm really excited to share that with you guys. Symptoms, again, these are the other symptoms: anxiety, irritability, abnormal heart rhythm, spasm, fatigue, chronic fatigue. You feel like you've slept for about 10 hours, but you get up and you want to go back to sleep again. Anybody felt that? Okay, most of us do. Weakness, PMS and hormonal imbalance. So there are many symptoms of magnesium deficiency. These are the other, this is from a technical paper. I've highlighted the ones which may interest you guys. Again, keep in mind, you may not be going through them, but is there somebody in your family who may be going through them? Anxiety, irritability, sleep disorders, leg cramps, migraines, depression. We think that depression is going to be taken care of by taking a pill or doing some other things, but magnesium is very, very important. heart disease. The left ventricle of the heart is actually extremely dependent on magnesium. So the heart actually does this pumping. So there is, of course, that contraction and relaxation. So magnesium helps relax it as well. Resistance to vitamin D, hypertension, miscarriage in pregnancies. Boring stuff, but when it hits you, you go to doctors, okay? So these are some very essential deficiencies and symptoms which you can't overlook. Now, how do you know beyond these symptoms? Is there a way I can check? There is one way. Normally, when you get a blood test done, there will be a serum magnesium test, and you will get to know what your levels are. Now, this test is actually not correct because in this test, the lab is checking the magnesium level in your blood, and your blood will always maintain the amount of magnesium for its own survival. So this is actually not the right test to get done. If you're interested, you can get a hair tissue mineral analysis, HTMA test, or a RBC magnesium test. So these are the two tests in case anybody is interested. That's what you need to get done. Don't be happy with the serum magnesium level coming okay, because it will always come okay. This is a beautiful calcium and magnesium dance. The proportion of our dietary intake between calcium and magnesium should be in the ratio of 1:1, ideally. But what has happened is that calcium has been the darling of the medical fraternity for the last 15, 20 years. Women going through menopause, you need to have calcium because you'll have osteoporosis if you don't take care of your calcium levels. Not realizing that if your vitamin D levels and vitamin K2 is not present, the calcium does not go into your bones. So as a result, we are over-calcified to the extent that there are 15 times more calcium in our body, or 20 times in certain cases, than magnesium. So that is a huge difference. And these imbalances show up later on in life, where you feel like your personality is changed. You become more irritable, you feel like you're ready to snap. What are the best sources of magnesium? Of course, food is there, always number one, whole foods. If you can get it from food, that's great. But we know that the soil is depleted, so what is the other thing that we can do? Oral supplements are good. There are many different forms of magnesium that are there. You can either buy them from Amazon and start consuming them. And the third one is transdermal. Transdermal means a topical application. And the discovery that I had, which I'm most excited to share with you, which took me almost 6 months of going down the rabbit hole of figuring out how do I get magnesium, is magnesium chloride hexahydrate. This was a life changer for me, Okay, I'm going to come to it in a moment. So these are the different food sources. Of course, you can have pumpkin seeds, watermelon seeds, sunflower seeds, cashew nuts, there's salmon. All of these are there. There are about 1,000 milligrams is the recommended daily allowance for everybody of magnesium. So you can eat these foods. But we are going to be still deficient. Like, remember what I told you, that stress causes magnesium deficiency. So almost on a daily basis, we're losing magnesium. Now, the problem with oral supplements is that about 60% of that gets washed off by the kidneys. So it does not reach the important places that it needs to. And you cannot, the good part is that you can't overdose on oral supplementation. There is a fail-safe for magnesium, so that if you intake magnesium, you will actually have diarrhea, and magnesium overload is not going to happen. Okay, why transdermal? Long story short, I knew you guys would be bored, but this was very important for me to share with you because I'm coming to the final outcome in a moment. Why transdermal? Because 99% of all the magnesium is stored in our muscles, in our tissues, and our bones. Okay? So when we apply magnesium on our body, on our skin has the wisdom to know what is the deficiency, and it only takes as much magnesium as it needs to. It's not just magnesium, it's also with other minerals as well. This is the reason why people go to Dead Sea. Dead Sea, biblical times, people have been going there. Dead Sea has got about 4 times more magnesium than any other sea out there. People would go there, they will apply the packs on their faces, and that will take care of their deficiencies. And at the same time, in India, there have been places with hot geysers and springs, which are usually with some religious connotations. So there are plenty of them in India. If you have the time, please make sure you go over there, sit there. Manikaran, anybody from North? Manikaran Saab. If you've been to Kasol, yeah. And if you take a trek there and you go to Kheer Ganga, there is an amazing spring water coming from the mountains, and it's hot water with all the minerals that is taken from earth, And 30 minutes up or have 30 minutes? Seated? Left. Okay, thank God. Okay, so these are the places. Kheer Ganga, lovely view. This is all free. If I could actually pay for this, I would be happy to pay 15,000 rupees per night to actually get a view like this. But it's free. Highly recommended. Go up north, go to Kheer Ganga. Transdermal options, very quickly. There are 2, Epsom salt. Anybody who's into athletics would know that athletes are told to put Epsom salt in the bath water and actually keep just soak there. So Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate. It does not get absorbed that easily and readily into the body. This, on the other hand, magnesium chloride hexahydrate, my discovery after a long time, and I'm so happy to share with you guys, is what gets absorbed very, very readily into your body. Now, how do you make magnesium chloride? Can you just get that to me? Quickly. Sorry? Yeah, if you can, please. All right, guys. So this bad boy costs around 300 rupees, 280 rupees. This is about half a kg. It's not a chemical. It's basically a salt taken from seawater or from mines. It is full of magnesium. So it's about 99% magnesium. You can actually get something from US also by a company called Ancient Minerals, which is going to be about 4,000 rupees. But magnesium chloride crystals are available on Amazon for about 300 rupees, and this will last you for about 6 months. Now, the way this works is, so this is not, I want to clarify, this is not a medicine. So this is not something artificially made. It's actually taken from the salt. So very quickly, so this has a consistency of a salt, and what you do is, the proportion is 1:1. So that is one part magnesium chloride hexahydrate crystals. And then I just put a little bit of water, and I'll share with you what results I have seen. So if you have lukewarm water, that's great. I think I went a little bit over, so that's it. It's ready. So this is not an oil which you get from a chemist shop. This is actually a brine. The reason they call it magnesium oil is because when you apply it on your skin, it has a little bit of a oily tendency. You feel a little bit oily after that. You want to ask something? I bought that thing for $35 for a small bottle. It's crazy. Yeah, it's great. You probably got Ancient Minerals, right? Maybe one of those brands, yeah. So if I had a business idea, and if anybody has a business idea and wants to sell this, please make sure that you give me finder's fee for it, really. This is crazy. The reason I don't want to make it, because my motivation was, how can the guy who comes to my house to do the plumbing job, how can he benefit? How can people in India who just have maybe 8,000 rupees as a monthly salary benefit? This is one of them. Magnesium is so deficient, and it kind of changes people's lives if you apply them on a daily basis. So this is ready, and so the way to apply this is, so this is part of our daily routine. I applied it 6 days out of 7 at night. It needs to be on your body for about 2 hours at the minimum. So if you apply it at night, that's the best thing, because it gets absorbed into your bones and tissues and muscles, and it is made available very, very quickly. So I start with putting 1 tablespoon on my palm here, and I start rubbing from the base of my foot over here, then the other leg, and then here, and back. You just have to make sure you're avoiding your genitals. If you have any cut, you will feel a bit of a burn, but that's okay. And then afterwards, before going to sleep, please wash your hands, because if you've got magnesium chloride in your hand and you do like this at night, it's going to burn. That's the only thing. And you have to be very careful that if you have excessively slow heart rate, there are some people who have such a low BP and heart rate that if they are actually sitting and they get up, they sometimes swoon. Those people should not apply magnesium oil, because magnesium oil relaxes your body. So elemental magnesium relaxes your body naturally. It's one of the best ways of getting a muscle relaxant. Kidney failure, anybody who's on dialysis should not have this, and anybody who's got bowel obstruction should not have supplemental magnesium. These are the only 3 cautions. Now, first-hand results. Ronan, you got to hear this. Sleep. I sleep like a baby. The moment I apply this, you have the REM sleep, the deep sleep, and I feel when I wake up in the morning, I'm completely fine and I'm ready to kind of take charge. I don't feel like, oh, let me just laze around for 5 more minutes. No snoozing. I'm ready to kind of go and rock that day. DOMS, muscle soreness, delayed onset muscle soreness. You do a heavy workout like what Ron made you do today, you apply magnesium oil, 90% of your muscle soreness is not going to be gone. That's crazy. 90% muscle soreness gone. That means you can do more workout, you can recover faster, and you can actually get more workout in a week. Energy levels are high. I used to be very low on energy. But since I've started applying this and many other things, my energies are through the roof. Migraines. Gautam, when I took this session, this was about 2.5 years back when I got to know of this. My first session, one gentleman in the audience had migraine, and he applied this, and within about 30 seconds, he said, migraines are gone. Now, the scientific reasoning is because what does magnesium do? It relaxes your muscles. So over here, when our muscles, because of overcalcification, are actually very tense, the blood vessels are not able to get the blood through that easily. And the moment you apply magnesium oil, and it's not through oral, where it will kind of first get digested and then reach here, it reaches the impact point immediately. You feel an immediate difference, okay? My mom, my aunt, and many other older women who have been overcalcified, who've been having calcium for many years, they used to feel that they had arthritis problems, but what was happening was that calcium was getting deposited over here, which gave them a symptom of arthritis. But the moment they applied magnesium oil over here, magnesium also dislodges calcium which is deposited. And my mom could not lift her arms from more than this much. And after 3 applications, Gautam, just 3 applications, it was like she was able to kind of do that. Wow. And that's why I feel that this is like 300 rupees, 6 months. Wow. An amazing, amazing supplement to have. Any questions so far, guys?
What's the name of the product?
Oh, the product is called magnesium chloride hexahydrate. Okay, this is what you can get from Amazon as well. There is a company by the name of Akshar Chem. Make sure that you enter Pancham Prashar in the discount coupon code. No, I'm just kidding. Hexahydrate. So there are 6 water molecules around it. Hexahydrate. Just Akshar Chem is one, but you can actually, if you're very careful, you can actually get one from US, which is Ancient Minerals, because they say that they get the salt from the North Sea. There's an old ancient sea, which salt reserves over there, which they say is kind of not messed up much with. So Ancient Minerals is another one. Any other questions, guys? Sirath. Every day. Why? Because you get depleted of magnesium every day. You're more stressed out, you've done a good workout, make sure you basically apply this. Sometimes I may forget, but anytime I have a little bit of a pain, like my back pain or my neck pain, this is the first thing I do. I do not apply Iodex or any of those chemicals. Again, this is not a chemical. Please understand that this is not a chemical. This is basically salt brine. Okay, moving on. Yes, sir. Yes, that's also, if you apply it over here as well, it basically can go over there and make sure that the calcium that is actually deposited gets dislodged from there as well. So it's amazing. It's amazing. Have you
seen any heart patients?
I have. I'll probably talk about it in the Q&A as well, or maybe later on I can share more notes with you. How much time do we have really? Okay, summary, please make sure that you fall in love with magnesium oil, start using it, it's very simple. Tell your parents, they all need it, okay? There are a lot of things you can avoid. Cool, nutritional tip, nuts and seeds. How many of us have nuts and seeds every day? Lovely. Almonds, walnuts, etc. I remember when I was growing up, I used to have it whether when somebody would come to our home or I would go to somebody's home. It was not every day. Seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds. Again, I started adding it about 5 odd years back into my routine. Now, the thing is that most of these seeds have a layering of phytic acid, okay, which actually are enzyme inhibitors. So if I have an almond and I just pick it up and swallow it, there's a lot of phytic acid on top of it, which will not allow it to get absorbed very properly. So you can activate your seeds and nuts by soaking. Very simple, yeah. 6 to 8 hours, 8 to 12 hours, and if you sprout them. Now, the beauty about soaking and sprouting is that it increases the bioavailability of the nutrients by up to 8 times. 8 times. So, oversimplification, but Gurin could have 8 almonds and I could have 1 sprouted almond and I could get the same bang for the buck. So make sure that you're not getting short-changed in your nuts and seeds. Make sure that you're actually putting them in water. If you can sprout them, that's even great. So there is an amazing soak and sprout chart you can get from Google. And I'm not sure if you'll be able to. Turmeric and black pepper. Again, turmeric, people have been going crazy in US. They wanted to patent curcumin some years back. Everybody in India went up in arms because we've been using it for the last about thousands of years, right? Now the beauty is that the moment you add black pepper, a pinch of black pepper to it, it increases the bioavailability of curcumin and turmeric by 20 times. 20 times. That's crazy. What it does is that black pepper has got 5% of it is called piperine. So piperine actually makes sure that your liver is not able to flush out turmeric, and it actually goes into your bloodstream and does all the magical things that it is supposed to do. So make sure when you're having turmeric, don't just have it like that. Add a little bit of black pepper to it. Now this is my morning cocktail. This is part of my morning ritual. I have a little bit of warm water. I put apple cider vinegar. And the apple cider vinegar you need to have should be the one which has got the mother in it, which has got a lot of healthy bacteria in it. And I also had something called BSM. Anybody knows what BSM is? Cool. BSM is blackstrap molasses. Okay, I'll talk about what it is. Then I add about half a teaspoon of turmeric for all those amazing benefits, and I add about 2 odd pinch of black pepper to it. And there's half a lemon added to it as well. That is my morning drink. My body says, thank you very much for giving me all the minerals right in the beginning of the day. It also alkalinizes your body, and it gives the vitamin C and other important minerals that your body needs. Now, blackstrap molasses, this is the bad boy you need to have. Blackstrap molasses is a whole food. When sugar is made, there's a third boiling phase where the white sugar is taken out, and what is left behind is this black tar-like substance. And Gurin, in Punjab, in the villages, they call it shira. Okay? And they used to give it to pregnant women and to cows or to men who were very weak. And so it's a whole food form. Now, what is amazing about this is that this has got so many minerals. Look at this. It has about 20% of a daily potassium requirement in 1 tablespoon, just 1 tablespoon. It has about 20% of your iron requirement. Women going through menstrual cycles and people generally with anemia, for example, this is an amazing superfood to add. Calcium, 8%. So it's magnesium, 8%. There's vitamin B6, which is 10%. In 1 tablespoon, mind you. So this is what I add in my daily morning cocktail. Any questions, guys, about this so far? Yeah, sorry. Okay, top nutritional deficiency number 2. Thank you, guys. You made it through. 2 more to go. I'll try and do it very quickly. Vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 is not actually a vitamin. It's actually a pro-hormone. We call it vitamin incorrectly. It should be hormone D3. Now, how many of you know your D3 status? Lovely. Can you just shout out your numbers very quickly? Jaldi se. Sorry? 12. Okay. 16. Sorry, 30. Lovely. Mine was 2 about 5 years back. Okay. And they say that almost 80% of people in the urban world are deficient in vitamin D3. So what's the big deal about vitamin D3? We'll come to that. So here are some of the symptoms of vitamin D3. Excessive sweating, high blood pressure. Anybody? Impaired immunity, of falling sick every 2 months, 3 months. That was me. Mood swings. Seasonal affective disorder. That's why people don't want to stay in London or Seattle, because it's so gloomy. There's hardly any sun out there and you don't have enough vitamin D. You feel suicidal, depressive when your vitamin D levels are low. Tiredness and fatigue. Again, it's a common trend with magnesium deficiency and with vitamin D3 deficiency. Digestive problems. These are some of the most common issues with vitamin D3 deficiency. There are about 18,000 genes in the human body, and out of them, 1,000 get turned on and off by vitamin D3. So that's how important it is. There's no other vitamin or hormone that plays such a huge role in the gene expression of the human genome. Now, the important thing is, how much should your vitamin D level be? What is the optimum range? Cool. This next slide, because there have been countless articles and research papers about the benefit of vitamin D3. I don't know if you guys have followed this online. Amazing. So this next chart was this amazing discovery I finally did, which is a great chart which talks about your vitamin D3 levels, which are measured by something called a 25-hydroxy, 25-OH in your blood test. And on this side are all the diseases and the percentages of the prevention of those diseases because of your vitamin D level. Okay, please pay a lot of emphasis to this. Your 25-hydroxy level starting at 6, going up over here, and these are all the different cancers and diseases which you can prevent. Breast cancer, 83%. These are numbers that I haven't made up. 83% can be prevented if a vitamin D year-round remains in the range of about 50 ng per ml. Okay? Type 1 diabetes, 66%. 54% of multiple sclerosis. Kidney diseases, 49%. Crazy numbers. And you can prevent, the most known deficiency was rickets, where people actually had their bones go like this. Now rickets is having a comeback in UK as well, because people are not being out in the sun, and also they are vitamin D deficient. This is an amazing chart. If I had a pill to sell which could give me this much guarantee, I'll be a billionaire by now. Okay, so the range you're aiming for is about 60 to 80. So anybody who's at 10 or 30, no need to pat yourself on the back. There's a long way to go. My last vitamin D level test was 37. I'm still working my way up. So there is also a role of vitamin D and calcium, dietary calcium. If we eat calcium in foods, if your vitamin D level is between 20 ng per ml, only about 10% of that dietary calcium gets absorbed into the body. But if you're around 30, or more, then about 40% of the dietary calcium gets absorbed in the human body. So you could be consuming all the calcium-rich foods, but they will not get absorbed into the body if you're vitamin D deficient. Now, there are two options. There, of course, food is an option as well. Are these two? Which is better? Sunlight. Pill and sunlight. Of course, sunlight is better, but sunlight has been villainized by the medical fraternity and also by the people who make sunscreen, from a few $1 million to now a multi-billion-dollar industry. And as the industry has grown, the incidence of skin cancer and melanoma has only increased. So I don't know what we are doing. Now, what you have to keep in mind is that if you're taking supplemental vitamin D, this is a very important figure, that if you're taking 1,000 international units of vitamin D3, it will raise your serum level of 25-hydroxy by around 5 ng per ml. Okay? So that's why a safe range is about 5,000 international units to be taken daily, which will help get your serum level to about 25 ng per ml. Now, when do we make D3 from sunlight? Now, I've seen a lot of doctors get this wrong. They say get out in the morning, first day, when the sun is coming up. You do not make any vitamin D3 at that point in time. So the logic behind that is that when the sun is coming up, there is UVA that hits the atmosphere first. UVB hits later on. And it's when UVB hits your naked skin, not through any clothes or through a glass or anything like, or even through a sunscreen protection. That's where vitamin D gets made by your body automatically. When humans evolved from the Amazon, from the equator, we were out in the sun all the time. But we are not out in the sun all the time. We're in air conditioning rooms like this or offices. And as a result, that's why there is a huge deficiency in vitamin 3 everywhere. And you're seeing all those diseases which are preventable, but which are coming up now. So UVA does not do that. In the morning, any doctor tells you, go and do your sunbathing at 8 a.m. He just doesn't know what he's talking about, because UVB does not hit that. And the closer you are to the equator, the window of UVB is more for you. The further away you go from the equator, the window of UVB is going to be lesser. Such that, in fact, in places which are, in Oslo, you may probably get vitamin UVB only for a month or so, and that also for a very short period of time. Okay, 10 minutes left. So one rule of the thumb is that if you are standing and your shadow is shorter than your length, that means you can roughly say that you're making vitamin D. How do you take the guesswork away? This was a huge discovery for me. I'm very happy to share with you. There's a free app available called D-Minder. Please download it. It will take all the guesswork away, which will tell you at any point in time how much vitamin D your body can make. It's a free app available. This was from Chandigarh, so I have to put in some data about myself, my height, etc. And you're ready to go. Android, iOS, please make sure that you download vitamin D, D-Minder as soon as possible. These are the different screens you have. You have to give how much skin is exposed, etc. And then you're ready to go. Now keep in mind, it also tells you the safe exposure. We do not want to have any kind of sunburn, because sunburn can lead to a very dreaded form of cancer called melanoma, which is skin cancer. You do not want that. We want to make sure that there is a safe exposure to sunlight. Okay, we don't need to villainize it, but we want to make sure that we have that nice romance with sunlight. I'll get more time, right?
Yeah.
Bonus point. Time was way up.
Any questions, guys, till the time they're loading it up?
Approximately how much time does it take in India, for example?
So,
how much time of exposure?
If I'm in Goa, this is what I'm going to do right now. In probably afternoon, I'll go outside, take off my clothes, just have my shorts on, and then be there for about 20 minutes maximum. 20 minutes is zyada hai shayad. So again, it depends also on your skin tone. The lighter your skin, the vitamin D level will be made more faster than somebody who's darker, because God has given us the natural sunblock, which is melanin, right?
What about this block?
Oh, it's okay. Yeah. That's fine. That's something to be proud of. So, yeah. Okay, any questions, guys? Yes, please. Yes, ma'am. I know. That's the biggest myth. The right time to go is when the sun is at the highest peak. Okay? And then you have to be in the sun for a shorter period of time. So in Chandigarh, for example, I take D-Minder, and 1:30 we have lunch in the office. 2 o'clock, where we have about 10 of us. We go up on the roof. We have a yoga mat. We take off our clothes, and not all of them, and we lie down for about 10, 12 minutes on one side. We switch on D-Minder, and it tells me very clearly that according to the latitude, your safe range is about 40 minutes, for example. If let's say it was June, right? Now, the rule of the thumb is that you try and do almost half of it. So I'll probably do about 20 minutes of it. And one of the other benefits of sun exposure is that you get a release of nitric oxide. So Ronan, you would know nitric oxide is basically a vasodilator. It basically makes sure that there is more blood going to different parts of your body. And you have an amazing high if you're actually out in the sun at that time and you do it for a few days. You feel like you've had 2 cups of coffee, but you do not feel that slump afterwards. Okay, so you're not only getting vitamin D3, but you're also getting nitric oxide. And mind you, serotonin, the happiness hormone, 90% of it is made in the microbiome, in the gut. Okay, and there is some of it which is made in the skin when we get exposed to sunlight as well. So you want to be more happy, please be out in the sun. But when you're doing that, make sure you're not wearing too many clothes. Okay, do not be this guy. You do not want to get sunburnt at all, okay? No sunscreen. Absolutely no sunscreen. If you want to make, see, most of the traditional sunscreen that you get from the market, they should not be applied because there are too many chemicals in it. Make sunscreen at home, yeah? It's so easy to make. Yeah, you can use zinc oxide powder and you can actually mix it with a few other oils that are out there. It's very simple to make. So I'll share a recipe, I know. That's the best way to do it. Okay, are there any benefits of this thing? There is a whole science about photobiomodulation. Photobiomodulation is basically where people are selling the benefits of the red spectrum of the light, sunlight, or light as such, and also the far and near infrared light. Okay, when you're out in the sun, you're not only getting vitamin D3 benefits, as long as it is safe exposure. Again, I'm reiterating that, but you're also getting all these other benefits. This is supposed to help you detoxify, deep tissue damage is kind of healed, and many other benefits of it. So much so that people are now selling products. Either you can be out in the sun, which is free, or you can actually buy this bad boy, which is for about $5,500, sold by Juve Lights. Amazing company, but they also recommend that if you can be out in the sun, there is nothing better than what sunlight can give you naturally. Or if you really want to, squander your money, you can probably buy this. Okay, also AM and PM light has its significance. In the morning when you get up and you do Surya Namaskar, early in the morning, it has a very different purpose. When the morning sunlight hits your eyes, and as it is in the first 1 hour, this is one of the morning rituals I do, I try and catch the morning sunlight, especially in the first 1 hour. If I get late in getting up and the sun is a little bit up, so I normally go down to to our park, take off my shoes, do some grounding, and I will stare at the sun with my eyes closed because the sun is already up a little bit more. And I'll just make sure that the sun is falling on my face because we have a lot of photoreceptors over here in our eyes. So what it does is basically it does a lot of hormone balance. We have pineal gland right over here, the third eye, that is responsible for production of melatonin. Melatonin is what makes you sleepy at night. And when you expose yourself to morning sunlight, your body's circadian rhythm gets reset as it's supposed to be. Okay? And also melatonin is a very potent anti-cancer. It's also called a youth hormone. Younger people have more melatonin. So if you want to be young, if circadian rhythm doesn't make sense to you, but you just want to be young, make sure that you're out in early morning AM sun and expose yourself. Okay, can I overdose? Yes, if you're having too much of supplemental vitamin D3, which we normally get in India in the form of those packs, you can overdose. 60,000 international units. Please do not take these supplements on a daily basis. But with the sun, you cannot, because your body will stop making vitamin D on its own when it has made enough. 5 minutes to go. Anybody recognize this? Pfizer, blue pill. Yes? Oh, you don't want to say that? Okay, this is Viagra. Okay. You know what works better than Viagra? No, watermelon. Watermelon has got sunlight as well. Yeah, you never know. Yeah. So watermelon has got a compound called citrulline. So citrulline makes sure that there is more blood going to your penis, and as a result, you're able to have a better erection and a sustained erection for a longer period of time. With something like a Viagra, you may have other issues, but with watermelon, there's all benefits, just whole food. Notice that anytime you've taken half a watermelon, next day in the morning, especially guys, see the kind of erection that you're getting. Okay, your sex life will get better, and you know what? There's another option that you have something which works 4 times better than this bad boy here. Is yellow watermelon. Yellow watermelon has got 4 times more citrulline in it. So you need to consume less of it. And please make sure that you do not put magnesium oil on your penis. It is just going to make it relax, and it's not a good thing, really. Yeah, it's available not that actively in India, but you can get it in Japan and US and other places, Mexico. Last few minutes. Okay, nutritional tip number. This thing. Do you know what this is? Flaxseed. Very simple. 220 rupees for a kg. I love this superfood because it is accessible to all the people, irrespective of the economic background. Flaxseed has been used for ages. It has got 800 times more lignans. Lignans are anti-cancer, very potent anti-cancer phytochemicals. They fight cancer like crazy, and the right way to have it is have 2 tablespoons every day. You make a powder of it. Don't take an oil. Make sure that you take 2 tablespoons, put it in a chutney maker, give it a swirl, give it a churn. It'll become into this golden brown powder. Not only are you going to get your lignans and fiber, but you will also get all the amazing benefits of omega-3 fatty acids, etc. Although he was not a doctor, but you can believe whatever he's saying. Mahatma Gandhi said, जिस गांव में अलसी का इस्तेमाल होता है, वहाँ पे कहीं कोई बीमारी नहीं हो सकती. This is an English translation of that. Vitamin B12, 2 minutes left? Vitamin B12, extremely important. It's for your brain. Symptoms are poor memory. Oh, where did I keep my keys? I've seen this guy, I've forgotten his name. You have feelings of tingling and pins and needles, chronic fatigue. These are the other symptoms. Fatigue, hair problem, infertility. This is a big issue in the modern world right now. People, men, women are trying to get kids, but it's not happening. Chronic pain, fibromyalgia. Lady Gaga had that, where doctors end up saying that it's in her head. Chronic fibromyalgia is where you end up having pains across your body, but your blood test comes out all right. There's nothing that they can pinpoint to. These are the other signs: numbness, low energy, infertility, etc., etc. So vitamin B12 has many functions. Primarily, it's brain food. It basically makes sure that your nervous system and skeletal system is working totally fine. It also minimizes homocysteine. Homocysteine is a toxic byproduct of protein synthesis. If your homocysteine level goes up, you can have a sudden cardiac arrest. There were a lot of instances of people who were ripped completely, running half marathons, full marathons, ultra marathons, but there were cases that they were falling dead. And the reason was their homocysteine level was very high. B12 helps eliminate that. It takes a lot of time because your vitamin B12 is stored in the liver, and but it is water soluble, but your deficiency starts developing over 2-3 years. In nature, you find vitamin B12 in the soil because this is how it's actually made. Vitamin B12 is made, just yank me out anymore. It's made by bacteria in the soil, okay? And it is also found in the gut of humans. So in the lower part of your large intestine, there is a lot of vitamin B12. That's why when we poop out, and especially with animals also, there are dogs who end up eating other dogs' poop. Sometimes you would notice that, because they can smell that they have more healthy bacteria and they consume that. And also, Baba Ramdev would say that in yoga, if you do Kapalbhati, B12 will come up. It's not happening. What happens is because it's way down. It is way down there. It does not come up. Vitamin B12 does not come up to get digested in the human body. Earlier times, people never had this deficiency because we would have water from streams. As a result, there was soil that was exposed to that water, and we would drink that. We would have well water. We don't do that anymore because right now the water that we're getting is from the municipal corporation, where they put a lot of chlorine in it. And chlorine is a very potent antibiotic. Antibiotic means anti-life. So it kills all the bacteria, good ones as well as bad ones. Thankfully, we do not have cholera, because cholera was a very bad problem we had because of bacterial infection. But we also don't have B12 in our water sources. And the range you're aiming for is 150 to, I'll just take 1 minute more, I'm sorry. 150 to 900. These are the 2 forms of vitamin B12 that you need. Now, you should aim for getting capsules of vitamin of methylcobalamin, not cyanocobalamin, because most of the people, unless there is a gene mutation called MTHFR, if you have that gene mutation, that cyanocobalamin does not get converted into methylcobalamin, and methylcobalamin is what your body needs. So when you get a pill of vitamin B12 and it says cyanocobalamin, unless you're sure you do not have that gene mutation, you should not take it. It's better to take methylcobalamin, which your body will immediately use. Okay, 500 mcg is a great sign because after the digestive process, your body will eventually find about 6 mcg in your blood. Can I overdose? No, you can't, because it is water soluble. You will just have expensive pee. First-hand results, you have to hear this. Gautam, when I got my blood test then, my B12 levels were 140. Okay, the range is 150 to 900. And I could feel that I was forgetting stuff. This was about 5 years back. I started supplementing after doing all my research, and within a few weeks, I felt like my brain function was tremendously high. I was like a ninja. I could see here, I knew what was happening here. I was that fast. And that is because of the fact that I was so deficient. And you feel this high if you're deficient and your deficiency gets taken care of. But after a while, that high doesn't sustain. Okay, finally, these are the apps I would recommend to everybody. D-Minder for vitamin D, Daily Dozen. I love this app. It tells you what all are the other daily nutritional plants, seeds, etc. you need to consume. This is by Dr. Michael Greger, one of my heroes. F.Lux, Flux on your laptops. Make sure that you have this installed. It will make sure that the blue light is blocked whenever the sun goes down, because we have a lot of issues because of blue light exposure. Night shift mode on your cell phones where you're watching all those videos, etc. Make sure that your night shift mode is switched on. And chronometer. I use chronometer to lodge my daily intake of nutrition just to figure out if I'm deficient in any. And that's it. I think that's a summary. Get your blood test done. Get your B12 in the right range. Please make sure that you pass this on to your parents. Okay, very important. You can avoid a lot of money being spent in diseases if you ensure that these chronic problems are kind of addressed much earlier on. And let's be healthy. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.